We have a quorum. Motion to accept the minutes.
Motion. Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any corrections or additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Minutes accepted. Budget committee.
All's good. Yes.
Wonderful. Personnel committee, did we didn't meet, correct?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
I understand. Nothing will change.
All right.
Still working on personnel policy.
Yes. We again appreciate putting that time. It's going to be a rough go there for a while. I don't be law enforcement, solid waste, net, procedures management committee.
We were good. We met to look at the ordinance and make sure it was worded correctly and all the things fitted there. It all came into play like that. That was able to, we voted to send it off here for a vote tonight here on Quorum 4.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Do we have any other unfinished business? Before we get into new business, we're in May of this year and going through things. It's been a very quick year, and we have yet, as a Quorum Court, elected a sergeant of arms. And our sheriff, I know, takes care of things criminally in this courtroom, but he's also offered to be the one that takes care of things civilly in this courtroom. So I would entertain a motion for Sheriff Alexander to be our sergeant of arms.
Motion. Second.
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you.
All right, before new business, I did have one person that was going to speak on the agenda at hand. I do not see him present. So we will get into new business, and Clerk Moffitt, go ahead. Okay, well, we'll start with that, and I'll have Ms. Gianna speak on it. And we'll do the, you want to start now? Yes.
Yeah.
If I read by title only.
The first one I have to read through the top of the how to explain it right now.
Let's have it heard by.
Yes.
Hi, thank you, Judge Sun. Thank you, Quorum Court members, for having me. My name is Sarah Giamo. I'm an attorney at Friday, Eldridge & Clark. I have before you two ordinances tonight. The first one is an ordinance levying a half-cent sales and use tax for jail and law enforcement purposes. And the second ordinance is calling an election on the levy of that tax. The election would be held November 18th, 2025. And the tax would go into effect if it, assuming that it was approved by the voters, it would go into effect on April 1, 2026. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
What did you explain the process and how we're going to take the vote tonight? And then I'll
Sure.
Then I'll do a motion and get a second, and then we can discuss the ordinance.
Sure. So we will put the ordinance, we'll read the ordinances each. With the first ordinance, we'll read it in full. And then, again, I'm happy to answer anyone's questions along the way. But after that, we'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings at 3 separate meetings. And place the ordinance on its second reading by title only. We'll do a roll call vote. We'll read it by title only. Then we'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings at 3 separate meetings and place it on its third reading by title only. Have a roll call vote, read it by title only, and then a motion to adopt the ordinance. And we'll do that for both ordinances. Does that make sense?
Thank you. Clerk Moffitt.
Ordinance 1, ordinance number 2025-18. Be enacted by the Quorum Court of the County of Marion, State of Arkansas, order to be entitled ordinance providing for the levy of 1/2 of 1% 0.5% sales and use tax within Marion County, Arkansas, for jail and law enforcement purposes to commence on April 1, 2026, and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto. Whereas the Quorum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, the county, has determined there is a great need for an additional source of revenue to be used for jail and law enforcement purposes. And whereas Title 26, Chapter 74, Subchapter 2 of the Arkansas Code of 1987, as amended with authorizing legislation provides for the levy of countywide sales and use tax at the rate of 0.125%, 0.25%, 0.5%, 0.75%, or 1%, or any combination thereof. And whereas the county is currently levying sales and use taxes at the aggregate rate of 1.25% under the authority of the authorizing legislation, and whereas the purpose of this ordinance is to levy commencing on April 1, 2026, a new state or countywide sales and use tax at the rate of 0.05%, and the net collections of which will be distributed only to the county and will be used for jail and law enforcement purposes. And therefore, being ordained by the Quorum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, Article 1, under the authority of the authorizing legislation, there is hereby levied a 0.5% tax on the gross receipts from the sale of retail within the county of all items which are subject to the Arkansas Gross Receipts Act of 1941 and amended ACA 2652-101, etc. And the imposition of the excise for use tax on the storage, use, distribution, and other consumption within the county of tangible personal property subject to the Arkansas Compensating Tax Act of 1949 as amended ACA 2652-101 at the rate of 0.05%. Sales price of the property, or in the case of leases or rentals, or the lease or rental price, collectively the sales and use tax. The sales and use tax shall be levied and collected on gross receipts. Gross proceeds or sales price at the maximum amount allowed from time to time under Arkansas law, subject to the rebates and limitations as from time to time required by law statutes for certain single transactions. Article 2. The sales and use tax shall be levied in net collections received after the state of Arkansas directs its administrative charges and required rebates shall be distributed only to the county and not to the municipalities therein, and shall be used by the county for jail and law enforcement purposes. The levy of the sales and use tax shall commence April 1, 2026. Article 4. All ordinance and parts thereof in conflict with are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Article 5. The ordinance shall not take effect until election is held on the question of levying the sales and use tax, at which a majority of the electors voted on the question shall have approved the levy of the sales and use tax.
Motion.
Could we call it a motion to suspend the rules and place the ordinance on its second reading by title only?
Is that your motion?
Sorry. Make a motion to do it by title only the second time around.
Okay. All right, we got to vote on that. So this is the motion to suspend the rules to read by title only for the second reading of this ordinance. Justice Van Valkenburg,
Yes.
Justice Lee,
Yes.
Justice Hobson,
Yes.
Justice Jensen,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Kerwood,
Yes.
Justice Shipman,
Yes.
Justice Dorsey,
Yes.
Justice Johnson.
Yes.
Ordinance 2025-18, an ordinance providing for the levy of 1/2 of 1%, 0.05% sales and use tax within Marion County, Arkansas for jail and law enforcement purposes to commence on April 1, 2026, and prescribing other matters that pertain therefore.
Motion.
Second.
And this is to read by title only for the third reading.
Move.
Yes.
Move to suspend the rule, place it on the third reading, title.
Okay. Ordinance 25-18. an
Oh,
ordinance-
do we have a roll call vote? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry,
The vote.
yes, we could, it's right here on my. Justice Lee,
Yes.
Justice Hobson,
Yes.
Justice Jensen,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Kerwood,
Yes.
Justice Shipman, Justice Dorsey,
Yes.
Justice Johnson,
Yes.
Justice Van Valkenburg.
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2025-18, an ordinance providing for the levy of 1/2 to 1%, 0.05% sales and use tax within Marion County, Arkansas for jail and law enforcement purposes to commence on April 1, 2026, and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, hang on. Discussion. Justice Hobson,
Yes.
Justice Jensen,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Kirkland,
Yes.
Justice Shipman, Justice Dorsey,
Yes.
Justice Johnson,
Yes.
Justice Van Valkenburg,
Yes.
Justice Lee.
Yes.
The blank in the first whereas clause will be filled in with 2025-18.
Thank you. Okay, ordinance number 2, ordinance number 2025-19, being enacted by the Quorum of the Marion County of Marion, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance calling a special election in Marion County, Arkansas, on the question of levying a statewide 1/2 of 1%, 0.05% sales and use tax for jail and law enforcement purposes to commence on April 1, 2026, and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto. Whereas the Quorum Court of Marion County, Arkansas County, passed on May 13, 2025, ordinance number 2025-18, the tax ordinance providing for the levy of 0.56% sales and use tax to the county and the sales and use tax. And whereas the purpose of this ordinance is to call a special election on the question of the levy of sales and use tax. Now therefore be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, Article 1, that there is hereby called a special election to be held on November 18, 2025, at which the election will be submitted to the electors of Marion County of questions of the levy of sales and use tax. Article 2, the levy of sales and use tax shall be placed on the ballot election is subject to the following term: 0.05% sales and use tax for jail and law enforcement purposes. Adoption of a 0.05% local sales and use tax within Marion County, the net collections of which remaining from deduction after deduction from the administrative charges of the state of Arkansas and required rebates will be distributed only to the county and for the use of jail and law enforcement purposes. If approved, the levy of the tax will commence on April 1, 2026. For and against. Article 3, the election shall be held and conducted on the vote canvass by and the election results declared under law and in the manner now provided for county elections, and only qualified voters in the county shall have the right to vote in this election. Article 4, the results of the election shall be proclaimed by the county court, and such proclamation shall be published one time in the newspaper having general circulation in the county, which proclamation shall advise that the results are proclaimed as conclusive unless attacked in the courts within 30 days of the date of publication. Article 5, copy of this ordinance shall be A, filed with the Marion County Clerk at least 70 days prior to the election date, and B, given to the Marion County Board of Election Commissioners so that the necessary election officials and supplies may be provided. A certified copy of this ordinance and tax ordinance shall be provided to the Commissioner of Revenues in the state of Arkansas as soon as practicable. Article 6, the county judge and the county clerk, for behalf of the county, hereby authorized to direct and to do any and all things necessary to call and hold a special election as therein provided, and if the levy of sales and use tax is approved by the electors, to cause the sales and use tax to be collected and to perform all acts of whatever nature necessary to carry out the authority conferred by this ordinance. Article 7, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be severable, and if any provision shall for any reason be held illegal or invalid, such holding shall not affect the validity of the remainder of the ordinance. Article 8, all ordinances and parts thereof in conflict therewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict.
Second.
Discussion. Do we have to suspend the rule at this point?
Yes.
Okay,
So
the motion is to suspend the rule and place it on the second reading by title only.
Justice Jensen,
Yes.
Justice Reed,
Did we have a discussion?
We're on the second reading.
Okay, we'll do it on the next reading then. Yes.
We have to finish the readings before we have discussion. You don't stop that, I'm gonna break your Is that right?
That'll be fine.
Yes.
What is
What I said? We finish the readings, and then we have discussion before we adopt.
Okay, that's one of it.
All right. Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Kerwin,
Yes.
Justice Shipman, Justice Dorsey,
Yes.
Justice Johnson,
Yes.
Justice
Yes.
Justice Lee,
Yes.
Justice Hobson.
Yes.
Very distracted. Need a motion for the third reading, please?
Motion.
Oh,
Yeah, let's
okay.
read
Read it by
let's read it by title only.
2519, ordinance calling for a special election in Marion County, Arkansas, for the question of levying countywide of 1.5% and 1.05% sales and use tax for jail and law enforcement purposes to commence on April 1, 2026, and prescribing other matters pertaining thereof. Here too.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to
That's a,
suspend the rules and
that's a
place it
motion.
on its third reading by title only.
Justice Reed,
yes.
Justice Kerwin,
Yes.
Justice Shipman, Justice Dorsey,
Yes.
Justice Johnson,
Yes.
Justice Van Valkenburg,
Yes.
Justice Lee,
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
Justice Hobson,
Yes.
Justice Jensen.
Yes.
Move to approve.
Let's read it by title.
Yes, I gotta read it. I have to read it again.
I know, but you just,
I
It was
yes,
the second.
it's the third one.
this is the third.
Yeah, I really get tired of it.
Tell me when you're on 36.
Okay, 2025-19, an ordinance calling for a special election in Marion County, Arkansas, on the question of levying countywide 1/2 of 1%, 0.05% sales and use tax for jail and law enforcement purposes to commence on April 1, 2026, and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
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 Yeah.
I
Yes,
don't
sir.
call on you.
Ma'am?
I don't call on you.
Yes, sir.
Discussion.
Yes, sir.
How's this going to be funded and, what's the cost?
I spoke to Brian Sorensen, if I pronounced that wrong, I apologize, the election commission. He guesstimated at this time between $28,000 to $30,000. Their budget had $38,000 to begin the year. I believe they just spent 7 to 8 with the Ozark Mountain School District vote they had, which I think took place today. So I believe he's got $30,000 roughly.
That money from the school election will be reimbursed to the county.
Wonderful. So I believe what he has left over right now, with 98% covered, if not all of it, but with that being reimbursed, they have budgeted money to take care of the special election in November.
So in consideration of that, there will be no need for appropriations unless the special election exceeds.
Unless there's something
his current-
unforeseen.
his current budget.
And I would be very transparently come back if there's something was unforeseen that would cost more than free money, then we would have another meeting and appropriate those monies. But I believe we have enough already budgeted for the year for the election commission to take care of the special election.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Point out, I use information about this election that's coming up, it's really kind of false and misleading. I'm not gonna get all the details. We really need, if we send this on, we really need to have the facts and figures correct about this, so that everybody would agree with or don't with it, at least they know all the facts and figures. Okay, and I had to try to explain to them what's trying to, one of the things was about the special election, why it's in November, I'm not gonna give details so everybody knows. We've got a timeline here, and we've got to meet it, okay? But one of the things that's thrown up, and we is that we're trying to ram this through. We are not, we're not trying to ram this through. We're on a time limit, and we want to get it out there where people can vote on it, okay? That's because this is the United States of America. And I really take voting dead serious, okay? And I'm not gonna give a story on that, but my time of rack, I saw that. And I saw in 06 where they could go gold, and I knew some small way I helped make that happen. So I am really adamant about the people voting on it. So this one person who left, they call me the name. We're just trying to make things work, okay? So one of the important things is you get the facts and figures down. And I try to explain that so everybody understands what's going on.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
For the record, this action has to take place 70 days, prior to 70 days before the election. That's why we're doing it now.
No, I understand that.
Okay, I just wanted to say
No,
that. So,
Ten four.
You know, because
Good.
the sales tax sunsetting in February, okay, we can't, if we wait after that, then we gotta do a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
So that's why it's having to go before that sunset, because otherwise then you get in a whole new ballgame, and then I don't want to complicate it, but it's just simple there, put it out there, so the people can vote on it, and it's easier to explain what we're trying to do. Okay, that's all I'm saying, and I think I've got them where they are not so here, you know,
Thank you, sir.
but I will, one something personal, there's some mistrust out there because they feel like the law enforcement center is too big for this county, and I really, in some way, I agree with that, but it's like Dr. Bear said, we got it, boys, that makes us the winner.
Right.
So we have to take care of that, we don't have any choice on it, so we just bite the bullet. It's kind of the way of damn if you do, damn if you don't. And I just get it that,
Well, we're not making the decision on whether or not it's gonna pass today. We're just
I
putting it on the
understand
ballot.
but
We'll
I
let the
just
people
feel,
decide.
I just kind of wanted to just put out there that, because I've had some negative, and I mean, I'm gonna get negative. Let's get the story straight about the negative and positive, that's all I'm asking. I'm done.
Thank you, sir.
there's a number of votes.
19.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Justice Kerwood.
Yes.
Justice Shipman. Justice Dorsey.
Yes.
Justice Johnson.
Yes,
Justice Van Valkenburg.
Yes.
Justice Lee.
Yes.
Justice Thompson.
Yes.
Justice Jensen.
Yes.
Justice Reed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I would recommend, I would like a motion to continue. I would make a motion to read by title only for the following two ordinances.
Okay.
Second.
Okay,
Let's go.
it's ordinance number 2520, and this is
We
simply
have a
a,
motion and a second to read by title only. But no vote.
We got to vote on the motion.
I'm sorry, all in favor, read by title only, all against. Thank you.
One of those does, huh?
You have no idea, there's an election going on downstairs.
I know.
Ordinance 2025-20 is a reimbursement from, in the amount of $676.21 for the jury of fourth quarter of 2024. This needs to be appropriated into the jury witness category into their postage line.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Justice Shipman?
Yes.
Justice Dorsey?
Yes.
Justice Johnson?
yes,
Justice Van Valkenburg?
Yes.
Justice Lee?
Yes.
Justice Hobson?
Yes.
Justice Jensen?
Yes.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Kerwin?
Yes.
Thank you. Excuse me. Ordinance 2025-21, an amendment to the annual operating budget and operating budget numbers of compensation ordinance 2024-61 for the calendar year 2025 to appropriate funds from the fund 1007 local assistance and travel consistency to 107-102 reporters fund for immediate conversion project in the amount of $75,661.83.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion,
Page 22.
21.
21. Thank you.
Justice Shipman? Justice Dorsey,
Yes.
Justice Johnson,
Yes.
Justice Van Valkenburg,
Yes.
Justice Lee,
No.
Justice Hobson,
Yes.
Justice Jensen,
No.
Justice Reed,
Yes.
Justice Kerwood.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you. I'm done.
I have a few appointments. The first appointment is Mr. David Luttrell has chose to step forward and up to be a part of the Ray Valley Fire Protection District. And he'll begin his term and it ends the 31st, 2029. So thank you, Mr. Luttrell. If he happens to be here, I do not see him. Ray Valley. I also have for the Marion County Equalization Board, Kathy Rogers has been appointed by the cities and incorporated towns, and Mariah Grammer has been appointed by myself to join the Marion County Equalization Board. We thank both of them very much for studying for and helping with that. We have an issue as we move forward with all the boards and committees. You kind of at your church, it's the same 13 people doing everything. We're running out of people standing in line. So put the word out and to get involved, and we'll go forward from there. For announcements, the transfer station will be closed May 21st from 11 to 1 for forklift training. We'll put that on our Facebook page and our website so people will know. And then,
Announcements.
go. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, that whole announcement. I got some proclamations next week. Go ahead.
Just on behalf of District 5, our appreciation to the road department and you for their tireless effort, and they're still working on 3021.
Yes, sir.
3022 was closed for a period of time. Those guys came out on Sunday, so that is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
And I would like to add to that, on that Sunday after that flood, I had them scheduled for a 10-hour shift. Blue John and 3022 was not reopened, and they asked to stay 2 more hours to get both those open on a Sunday. So that's what the heart and loyalty of your road crew is, Marion County.
Good job.
I'm blessed by it. Proclamations. The first one here is for the National Historic Preservation. Whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, maintaining community character, while enhancing livability. And whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and ethnic backgrounds. And whereas it's important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of heritage that has shaped us as people. And whereas May 2025 is designated as Preservation Month, co-sponsored Marion County, the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, Arkansas Heritage, the National Park Service, the National Trust for Historic Preservation, and the National Register for Historic Place. Now, therefore, I, Jason Stubb, County Judge, do proclaim May 25 as National Preservation Month and call upon the people of Marion County to join their fellow citizens across the United States in recognizing and participating in the special observance. And I have this framed for you today.
Yes.
Second proclamation is for Treatment Court Month. Whereas All Rise is a national training, membership, and advocacy organization for improving justice systems responses to substance use and mental health disorders at every intersect point. Whereas according to All Rise, treatment courts are the most successful justice system intervention in our nation's history for reducing crime by addressing substance use, mental health, and disorders. Whereas treatment courts save an average of more than $6,000 for every individual they serve. Whereas treatment courts provide a range of economic benefits to community, such as reduced costs in court, prison expenditures, increased tax revenues, lower foster care expenses, and decreased costs related to victimization And whereas treatment courts combine accountability with evidence-based treatment. And whereas treatment courts annually refer more than 150,000 people to life-saving treatment and recovery support services. And whereas according to All Rise Treatment Courts, it significantly improves substance use, mental health disorder, treatment outcomes, and prevent fatal overdoses. And whereas treatment courts facilitate community-wide partnerships, bringing together public safety and public health. And whereas there are now more than 4,000 treatment courts nationwide. And whereas treatment courts demonstrate that when one person rises, we all rise. Therefore, be it resolved that Marion County Quorum Court declares that Treatment Court Month be established during the month of May. Now, therefore, I, Jason Scott, County Judge, do proclaim May 25 as Treatment Court Month and call upon the people of Marion County to join their fellow citizens in recognizing and participating in this special observance. That we keep this up. Thank you very much.
Judge, on behalf of the 44th, or the 14th Judicial District Drug Court, I gladly accept this. We have drug court in the morning, and I'm going to present this to Judge Bailey and the rest of the drug court staff with our sincere thanks.
All right.
With that being done, I believe that concludes our business, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
adjourn.
I'm not in the court yet, though, so.